So really this panorama is what I am working with, and you get to see the trash that I've piled up. There used to be a shelf there. I moved that green unit from over there to over there, and as you can see, a lot of projects opened up as once. But all this stuff on the ground, all the stuff below there, most of the stuff up there, the carburetors that I have sitting right under that shelf over there, and a good number of the pieces that are sitting on the ground here are going to be up on this shelf. And most likely I'm going to make a second one to replace that wooden shelf right there. So this is 140 foot minus a 20-foot section that's already sitting on there of 3/16 3x3 angle iron that I just bought for a total lump sum of $476 from my local supplier. It's rigged up inside of the bandsaw, so you can see wood block as a chuck, hold it upright. I'm cutting 8-foot sections for that right there, that empty spot, and I'll have to remove all the belts off the wall. That is going to be a shelving unit, 8x8 by 30, so 30-inch deep, 8 foot tall, 8 foot wide, with most likely 5 shelves, I believe. We'll just have to see. I just made that out of a piece of that toolbar that I had laying over. Got the rest sitting up there. And really, just getting to work on cutting these sections so I can make that. This is pretty well how I'm lining it up. Just going directly over top, looking down at the cutting surface, and also using a little bit of the keyways to jig it up. And then going all the way down there, I've moved it. It's 2 inches away from the wall, so it's more than enough to get a 20-foot section in, but it does take a little bit of finagling to get it right. And we're all ready to make first cut. This is definitely the most money I've spent on metal, but for 140 feet, I mean, I think it comes out to just shy of $3.20 per foot, which I think is worth it for a shelving unit. I've got all my 30-inch sections all over there. Now, I've already cut my pieces and I've changed the parameters a little bit. Now, as you can see, it's a 12-foot ceiling. That bar right there is 10 foot. The one next to it is 8. There are 10 8-foot sections and 4 10-foot sections. I've still got to get that truck up and running and move it out of here before I can really fabricate well. But here are the side mounts. Now, these are going from front 10-foot section to back 10-foot section. And what I'm trying to do is notch a section out of these pieces so that it sits flush. So you can see right here, that's my cut. I'm going to cut out this section so that way when it does, in fact, get to the point where I can put it in somewhere, it's going to sit pretty much perfectly flush. Having some problems with this. This keeps on slipping out and sparking a little bit, and this one I replaced the end, but I think it's still having problems with vibrating and getting loose. Now I am still having to tension this myself, pull tension off, spin it, because the switch in the back of here, I'm most likely going to buy a 3D printer. That way I can make a new switch, and I can also make new pieces if I need to. All I would need to do is make a flat section of ABS plastic, maybe use some rivets or something, and just cut out the switch itself and the contact points and slap that onto a flat sheet of plastic. That way I can have it 3D printed to be the perfect size hole and not have any issues with having to cut it out by hand, because I know I can't be as accurate as that thing could be. But that's for the future. Right now, just trying to go through the paces, and most likely I'm going to work on those caster wheels too, because I'm seeing a lot more use for those now that I'm actually using this thing. Lugging it around by hand and trying to scrape it against the floor just at the right dimension instead of just being able to kick down on a piece of rebar and having those things pop up is becoming more and more cumbersome. So I use a plasma cutter, and obviously I've already got it welded together, but finished up that whole notch idea. Just cut out that section right there. I'm not going to zoom in on my welds because they suck, but so far structurally it works. Right now I'm mocking it up to put in those 2 8-foot sections on the bottom. This is the top right here. Measures 1 foot from this edge to the base on both sides, and I've tried to keep it as square as possible. And I think it's a little bit of a victory that, as you can see, they stand up on their own. There's nothing supporting them, which means I've got it at least square enough in that aspect that it's not off balance. Well, it's been a bit of a mad dash to try and get to the point that I'm at right now. But as you can see, this is pretty well what I envisioned it to be. I've got a couple of missing parts. For instance, side supports, like down there, I'm still needing to make. I had cut off sections that just didn't get around to using, and so I'm going to need to cut some more 2-foot sections for total. So I might use one of the 8-foot sections that I had left over right over there. Never did get to because I was thinking about 5 shelves, but then I decided 4 would be much more useful. It's 26 inches from the base to base distance, and I'm going to cut this C-channel. Obviously, that toolbar off of that planter has gone a heck of a long distance. I've made a stand as well as I don't know how many countless things, and reinforcements for that truck's bed that's going to soon enough, as soon as I'm done with this and get it organized and souped up, I'm going to pull that back inside and get to cutting. And I'm going to make skids, or skis I guess you could say, out of this. Cutting a line on that side from both directions, taking that center section and using both of those to reinforce the probably lower, because I think I'm all right with that. That's where it's at right now. It's 10 foot tall, 8.5 inch wide, and about 31 inches deep. So a little bit above what I wanted, but with the reinforcement that I've put in there at all corners, and pretty well how substantial it's turning out to be, because I've stood on each one of these after I've welded them. No collapses, no issues, no buckling. So soon enough it'll be ready for a paint job, and then it'll go over there into that corner to help me get everything off the ground. So this is how I've ended up choosing to set up. This is my final cut, but just to show the process, I've got my torch right here. It's a touchless, so it's got a pilot arc. So I've got this fitting right there on the end of it. That keeps it held off. If you angle that with that prong right there pointing towards this piece of metal, you can have it be a runner all the way back and cut like that. I've got it measured from face to face of angle, 1.25 inches. So that means I'm getting roughly 3/4 of an inch cut down to both the sides, turn it into 3/4 inch C-channel pretty much. Well, 3/4 inch by 3.5. And then once I'm done with that, slip that on the end of the legs, use the center bits either at the top, or I might make them supports for the back half, going from at probably somewhere around a 30-degree angle, connecting up to the bottom rack, so that way it supports the legs from flopping in and out. Well, I'm hoping this won't just crumble in my hands, because I have something satisfying that I think I can do. Since I left tabs on this, as you can see those little spots where there's holes from where I wasn't consistent with my speed, I believe that when I drop this, it'll pretty much break apart and all these pieces will fall. So there we go. As you can see, it's not perfect, but this is very hot, fresh cut, and this just barely will slip over the end after I clean off the edge of that and make a ski. And then these pieces on the end, they've bowed so much. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do to straighten them, but I might actually just use these. So far, I believe this is going to be a great addition. especially for only spending about $500 total, even counting welding rods. I think I've put maybe 4 pounds of rods in this thing so far, and maybe another quarter pound to go until I'm really satisfied with the welding job on this. Then paint I'm going to get for free. I have a bucket left over from a job I did a while ago, and just put some of that good old Rust-Oleum on it and see if we can't get it set into place and get organized. Here's how it sits for now. I've got a lot more cleaning to do. It is genuinely over 100 degrees right now. I've been in the shop for just shy of 9 hours a day for the last week and a half. I enjoy working like this, but the reason this video has taken a long time to shoot, I've had 4 different projects going. It's been with temperatures being around 96, 97 and humidity being 100 and 0 breeze, it culminates into about 108 degree ambient temperature. Feels like, if you could say that. So working inside of a shop that's pretty much a big oven with 2 box fans of circulation, one of which is 60 plus years old that I had to get the motor working on, and another one that I need to get working. It's been difficult, but this has definitely been worthwhile. I'm so far using it to some extent. I definitely don't have it to the point that I want to whatsoever. It's probably a good bit off from being somewhat comfortable to me, at least. As you can see, I don't have it loaded down, but I'm trying to take it slow, take it steady, and keep everything organized. Because I've got another one coming just to the right of you that's 8 foot tall and probably has double the shelves. So this, for the most part, is just a placeholder for small and large stuff until I can get that one made. Along with that, I've got heaps of new projects coming in, stuff that I'm designing, stuff that I'm working on. I have not been slacking off whatsoever. I took a job for a few weeks working as an electrician, communications centered, and that beat me, you know, working out in the heat during that time, then coming home and doing all of this, and then doing school. But I made just enough money to pay for this, pay for the wood and the steel, which all in all came out to, even with the gas that it consumed to go pick up everything, just shy of $600. It sounds like a lot, but to me, the thing's worth that. I just can't thank you guys enough. I know it's been a while. I think it's probably going to be about a month and a week and a half when I post this. And I apologize. I know I said last time that it would be about every 6 days, but things get away from you, and especially with the heat and some issues that I was having, you kind of lose track of time. But I promise, I'm going to give you better content, and it might not be as often, but it's going to be worthwhile. So thank you again for watching, and hopefully I'll have another video up soon enough of a project that's even more interesting than this. Because I know I didn't record very much of the actual building process. Again, it's been blistering hot. No excuse, but I cut myself a little bit thin as far as that's concerned. I hope everybody has a great day, and thank you again for joining me on the Rambling Ram YouTube channel. And let me know if there's anything I can do for you in the future or anything you'd like to see. And take care of yourselves.